Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Resistance 2 and Resistance 3 on the RPCS3 emulator. So Resistance 1 and 2 are now considered playable by the RPCS3 community, so I wanted to give them a try. Resistance 3 is at the moment in-game, which means that it still requires a lot of work from the emulator itself. So we're going to do Resistance 2 and Resistance 3. Again, if you're playing Resistance 1, should be completely fine, as long as Resistance 2 runs well. How are you doing, guys? Welcome. Nice seeing you here. So before starting, let me show you which version of the emulator I have. For you guys in the future that are watching this as a recording, we're using this version that you can see up here. Then let's show you the configuration for Resistance 2. We'll leave this like this. GPU, we're going to start on 720p, which is native resolution, but we're going to increase it as time goes on. Now we have an FSR upscaling option, which is Fidelity FX Super Resolution. In this case, it's not super important because we are only CPU limited in the emulator in general, but it's good to have for the future, I don't know. So we keep it like this, then audio like this, advanced, nothing special. If the game crashes, we're going to lower the driver wake up delay a little bit, increase it, sorry. I'm not sure why my window is flickering there, no worries. And we're going to have the performance overlay as well. Radeon benchmarks, todo bien? So yeah, those are the options. There's also a way to unlock the frame rate. Let me show you super quick in the game patches. There is one to unlock the frame rate up to 60 frames. Really very difficult to get 60 frames without a strong CPU, but we're going to try it anyways. So let's go in. Nothing more to add on the configurations side. So let's do it. So yeah, we're using Vulkan as well. Does your motherboard support multi-GPU? Let me check. Yeah, in my streaming PC it does, but multi-GPU, that's old technology already, at least for me. Why would you do multiple GPUs? New games barely support it nowadays. I need to try this emulator without VR. I know Dolphin emulator works in VR. I heard Metroid Prime looks amazing. I imagine so. Imagine playing that, a first-person game like that on VR. Holy hell, that would be amazing. Other games will you test? I'm going to do Resistance 2 and 3. Resistance 1 should run fine. If Resistance 2 works, I mean. So we're going to start from the checkpoint I was at, which is the very beginning of the game because there's a lot going on. And I cannot skip cutscenes in this game, so as you can see, it's pretty unstable, especially when I move the camera around. So yeah, in my opinion, 60 frames, just disable the 60 FPS cap, do yourself a favor. So yeah, in this case, Fidelity FX Super Resolution wouldn't help us because we are CPU limited. Look at that GPU usage. So yeah, it's mostly the CPU and the emulator, how it works. So yeah, I'm doing fine, Tanjim Raham. What about you, man? Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Can be confusing at times. So as you can see, a first-person shooter. It hasn't aged particularly well, as you can see, and the performance is hit or miss. Although on the PS3 in this part, it was dropping frames like crazy, so kind of makes sense. But this is what I was talking about, just keep it at 30 frames. 60 frames is nice and all, but we're not hitting that target at all. So, and as you can see, 720p gives us 60% GPU usage, so we're going to do 1080 now. This was just an introduction to show you what we're up against. So we're going to shut the game down, and we're going to swap to 1080p now. So we zoom in, and we do 1080p. As you can see here, 150% resolution. We save the configuration, and we're going to disable the 60 FPS option in the patches because, you know, it affects the game speed and it doesn't hit 60s like at all. So yeah, Your 2600X drops many frames as well. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. It happens on this CPU as well. Will the 3600 play well? I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure. I know that it won't hit 60s due to single-threaded performance, but overall should be fine. Should be playable. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Prototype 2 is optimized for PC. Why would you need RPCS3? This is not Prototype 2. This is... Or somebody asked about Prototype 2. No, I mean Prototype 2, there's a PC version. You can get it on Steam, I think. So no need for to do emulator on that one. This is a game that was, well, it still is a PlayStation exclusive. So this is from Insomniac Games, the people behind Spider-Man PS4. So it's pretty odd to play a game from that generation. I mean, they are doing so many different things now that have nothing to do with this franchise. All the alpha chats drink mate. Hell yeah. So as you can see with the 30 FPS cap, and we're on 1080p though. I forgot to change that. So 1080p. But we're still CPU limited, as you can probably notice. Which is fine, I mean, it's a PS3 emulator. Looking in this exact place, we drop frames. But again, it's just this area, I'm guessing. So let's get it done. Die. And there's a 30 frames cap, because if not, the game is super inconsistent. So yeah, let's go. I just answered a guy's question. Yeah, thanks, augmented realism. I was confused for a second, but that was because I didn't have the whole story. But as you can see, in this area at least, it drops quite a bit below 30. So let's get out of here. And it's also compiling shaders. So yeah. But this big robot thing, I remember on the PS3 that it dropped frames. Well, at least I remember it that way. Not entirely sure. So where do I have to shoot? 1080p on 1050 Ti though is pretty neat. Yeah, agreed. Considering it's a PS3 exclusive, if you've never experienced it before, it's not bad. But also remember guys, we are talking about a game that is not running natively on a PC. This is a PS3 emulator again. And as I was saying, the only way to play this game outside of the PS3 is this way, and you can increase the resolution. So the game hasn't aged that well, let's be honest, graphically speaking. And it was a time where anti-aliasing was more for rough edges. It wasn't soft like nowadays, so there's a lot of aliasing. So in this case I would try 1440p and 4K, but in this game I'm not super concerned, because it's not the one that I'm interested in. I played this one back in the day, and it was mind-blowing, the graphics. Nowadays, well, it's dated. But you can do 30 frames pretty well with this CPU. What performance with FSR? The same because, again guys, this is not a GPU limited scenario, we're CPU limited, so FSR won't help at all, because that only affects the resolution, and the resolution directly affects the GPU. So in this case it doesn't make sense to use FSR. What I might do though with FSR that is interesting, I can use 1440p native resolution and upscale from 1080p. That will give us a sharper image. But at the same time, the edges in this game are so rough that in this case it would be kinda bad, I would say. It wouldn't be so good. I love this Magnum because the bullet you have there, it's like an explosive, so you press R1 and boom, it explodes. I haven't seen that in any other game yet. Why didn't you use a 1650 today? Because it's not needed. If the 1050 Ti can do it, the 1650 can do it. And I say that because this is more of a, again, CPU limited scenario. So if you have a faster GPU, in this case it wouldn't make much of a difference, like, at all. So yeah, that's good and all, but let's now do 1440p. 1080p was fine, as you could see there, after the very beginning of the game. we were basically locked at 30 frames. So let's do 1440p now. So 200% resolution. And FSR only works if you're doing a higher resolution than your monitor's native, as far as I know. So yeah, I mean, it's good to have, but in this case it doesn't help us. I like that there is a strength bar. I'll probably use it at 30%. But look at this, it says control the sharpening strength applied to the FSR thing. Higher values will give you a sharper image, but may introduce artifacts. I mean, this game is so sharp, the edges are so sharp, that in this case, FSR doesn't make sense, really. It will make the aliasing more noticeable, at least in my experience. So in this case, I won't use it, but it's coming soon. Don't worry. We're going to try super high resolutions. So 1440p now. Let's load the game again. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good so far. Considering, again, it's a PS3 emulator. Good numbers. Again, guys, do not use the 60 FPS patch because you're going to get dreadful numbers. Ah, delicious mate. I love it. Pretty good, yeah. True, FSR looks best in games that are blurry. Yeah, that's kind of the point. I mean, FSR has been thought in a way that it sharpens the image better when you're upscaling, but usually works best if the game is super soft. An example of this is Red Dead 2. The TAA in that game is so strong that the game becomes a blurry mess at times. So it's nice to have the option. But in this case, we don't have blurriness. We have shimmering, which are the edges. The edges are super noticeable. Right now at 1440p, as you can see, we have a 1080p screen with a 1440p output. And now the game looks amazing in a way that the edges are no longer have shimmering around them. The game looks super sharp in a good way. But as you can see, the GPU sometimes went to 100%, so maybe FSR in this particular case is a good idea. So yeah, 4K on this one won't be an option for us. But on the 570 probably is. Bueno, gracias Sergio24, se agradece. Is there many games that the emulator can play okay? Yeah, there's a lot of them. You can find that in the description. There's a link for the emulator. And you can see all the games that work on it. So yeah, maybe 1440p is a little too much. Okay, the door is now open. Yeah, 1440p cinematic experience. Yeah. You got that right. But as you can see there, the GPU is over 80%. So in this case, the resolution does not help. There's too many pixels. So let me show you what I would do in this situation. So we close the game. We put the desktop resolution as 1440p. Oh, hang on. Gotta add it from the NVIDIA control panel. I'm using a 1080p screen today, so yeah, I'll need that. Hang on, guys. So DSR, there we go. So now we have a 1440p option in our monitor. So what we're going to do here is this. So we select 1440p as native resolution. There we go. So 1440p native res. Now you go into RPCS3 and in the configuration, since 1440p is too much for our GPU in this case, we're GPU limited at that resolution. We are keeping the resolution scale at 1080p, so it stays on 1080p. But the FSR will take our desktop resolution, in this case 1440p, and it's going to upscale from 1080p to 1440p using FSR. We're going to keep it at probably 15% because this game is super sharp, no softness to it whatsoever. So this should give us a good image, I would say. So 1440p will be our target resolution. So 1080p plus FSR 1440p. basically. So yeah, that should give us a good image, I'm guessing. Let's find out. But yeah, in this case, that's how FSR works for us. So hang on guys, full screen, there we go. Wish me luck. How are you today, Mr. Santiago? I'm doing fine. Al Juneco, what about you, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How do you update the games within RPCS3? You don't. You install the packages. You need to find the update packages and install it in file. Let me show you. It's easier if I show you. So you go to file, install packages, and there you select the update files and you're good to go. Up to you to find them though. I cannot provide links. So let's continue. Yeah, TAA option was a weird disaster in Red Dead 2. Yeah. Super soft. Well, as you can see now, guys, we are on 1080p once more, but I'm noticing that the edges are a lot better. I'm still seeing some tiny artifacting in those edges. But I mean, the image looks better than native 1080p, without a doubt. Let's see if we drop below 30 again. And as you can see now, we're at locked 30 frames, instead of dropping into the 20s, like before. Although we're still dropping a little bit, especially now that I'm fighting. But still, it's still better than before. At native 1440p, well, the GPU couldn't do it. So now at least it's a playable experience. So yeah. Yeah, it looks a lot better than native 1080p, without a doubt. So good implementation so far. Ruido de mate. Sí, literal, Ignacio. Ruido de mate. That's the mate noise. Alright.
This is it. We found it.
Open the gates! Oh, never mind. Let's use the rifle, yeah, the alien rifle. Yeah, we're dropping frames now. Still 80% GPU, so probably CPU related. Although, again, the CPU is not maxed out. So as the emulator improves, it will be better and better. Anyway, Killzone playable. We're going to try Killzone on Friday. Killzone 2 and 3. Not sure if I'm going to do both of them in the same video, because I want to test multiple GPUs on them. But yeah, they should be kinda playable. There will be a lot of drops in performance. So yeah. That's Scrotum enemy, as you can see there. A brick scrotum, flying scrotum. Oh man. Anyway, so this is Resistance 2 on the 1050 Ti. Again, my advice, 1080p resolution, CPU limited still, and FSR with 1440p as a native resolution. And as you can see, considering the age of the game, looks pretty good. But we gotta lock ourselves to 30 frames, which is pretty unfortunate, but hey, we don't have enough CPU power for that. Resistance 3 can be demanding as the game uses some of the PS3 SPUs. Yeah, that's kind of the interesting part. That's what that's what I want to do. My voice sometimes, holy hell. Anyway, 1080p, let's go back. So now we're doing Resistance 3. Again, on Friday we're doing Killzone 2 or 3 or both, we'll see. Hang on, my dog wants to go out, 1 second. Apologies for that. So, let's go for Resistance 3 now. This is, again, according to the community, Resistance 2 is playable, so as you could see there, we could get 30 frames pretty well. But Resistance 3 is in-game, which means that it still needs work on the emulator to be playable. Uses a lot of the PS3 features. So let's show you the configuration. We keep this like this. On the GPU side, let's start with native resolution. Looks dreadful on native resolution, but gotta try it anyway. Like that. On advanced, like this. On emulator, only a performance graph, and that's basically it. There's no patches for this one, so gotta work with what we have. So let's jump in, shall we? This is now 720p, which is again native resolution. And we are CPU limited, as always, on RPCS3. I'm doing fine, Orianto123. What about you? Y hola, Hiro, disculpa, llegué tardísimo a leer tu mensaje. Also, guys, this game takes forever to load, so give me a few seconds. And it's from Insomniac, the people behind Spider-Man PS4, which is kinda weird, but still. Me gustaría ver qué tal anda el Twisted Metal y nos fijamos en la lista después y lo chequeamos. Yeah, I'm not able to drink this. What the hell? There we go. Nice. Aquí trabajando. Bueno, me alegro que estés trabajando. Hi, Balek Alpha. Long time no see. Todo bien, Augusto Sánchez, ¿y vos? Acá andamos probando juegos de Play 3. Again, guys, remember, this is like Frozen, but it's just loading, so gotta be patient. Y yo calculo que un poquito peor que acá, ya que menos potencia mononúcleo, pero debería ser jugable igual. El 2, el 3 no sé. In Brazil we call it tereré. That's kind of funny. Okay, the game loaded. Nice. Have you tried the medium? Yeah, I tried it day one. It ran pretty bad. So as you can see now we're on Resistance 3. Let's continue the level. This is after the cinematics. The first cinematics, you cannot skip them, so I'm going to show you a couple things. So this game uses a lot of the PS3 hardware advantages. As you can see, 720p in this game looks pretty jaggy. Look at those edges. But when you aim down sights, there's something super specific about this game that makes the aim down sights be broken. So the way the game renders aim down sights is kinda out of the ordinary. It takes advantage of the PS3's hardware to do this. Not sure what it does. But as you can see, that's kinda the only big glitch. And the guns do not have the... Oh yeah, they do have the muzzle flashes. But as you can see, when I aim down sights, it kinda drops below 30, so not great. But the aim down sights is broken. But you can still aim, don't get me wrong. You can still aim to the enemy and boom, dead. Or you can just fire from the hip. Like this. But as of right now, this is a huge glitch that this game has. Also, some levels make the game crash, which you can go around it if you want. But as you can see, the GPU is doing basically nothing, so we can crank up that resolution. So yeah, let's do this. Let's go first to 1080p. So we're getting out of this because, you know, 720p not great. Doesn't look particularly good, especially in these old games that do not have any anti-aliasing. So 1080p, 50% more pixels. So we apply, save, let's go back. But it will still drop below 30 frames. I mean, this game is kinda the problem that it has. Alright, so we gotta once again wait for the game to load. So patience, my darlings, patience. Daniel, los ajustes que muestro, el tema es que este emulador usa procesador, así que tu problema es el procesador. Ese es un poco el problema. La tarjeta de video no importa tanto en estos casos. En este caso, procesador es lo que más suma o resta. No, augmented realism, I haven't tried that. But, I mean, I think that has nothing to do with the emulator. I don't have those special instructions, the RSX, TSX instructions. I don't have a CPU that has that capability. So yeah, that's kind of the problem there. What other hobbies do you like? I like playing the guitar, kung fu, tai chi. I like sometimes walking, just go walk around, drinking coffee and speaking. That's kind of my hobby. Sometimes I play Payday 2 as well. That's kind of a separate thing though. All right, again loaded. Let's get back in. Again, the aim down sights will still be broken, but had to start somewhere. The game is going to improve eventually. It's funny because when I found gameplays about this game, as you can see now it looks much better on 1080p. But we still have that glitch that drops us below 30 frames. That's kind of inevitable. That seems to be more of on the emulator's side. So yeah, but aiming still works. So if you want to avoid this, just don't aim down sights, shoot from the hip, and you're good to go. So yeah, 1080p is doable, that's what I'm trying to say, but when you aim down sights, well, your performance is going to tank pretty significantly. Although this is a game we'll probably play at 1440p to avoid those blurry edges. Now let's play on 1080p a little bit. You're not replying? Yeah, I cannot do everything at once, man, but I mean you don't understand that because you're not doing the live stream yourself. What's up? I'm doing fine. What about you, man? Once I can do two things at once, well, I'll be probably superhuman. Okay, boss fight, boss fight. Let's go. Okay, yeah. As you can see, the same effect that it's applied to the guns when aiming down sights is being used with this enemy, so we're still dropping frames. So yeah, I think we're not getting a playable experience, let's call it like that. It's in-game, so... But the game still looks pretty good, not gonna lie. For a PS3 game, this looks pretty good. I'm probably gonna increase that resolution though. Okay, now it's a little bit better, now that I'm in this section. By the way, you like console games? Yeah, it depends on the game. It doesn't matter where I play it, really. As long as I'm enjoying it. Sure, why not? Yeah, these effects are the ones that killed the emulator right now. So we're software limited. And I'm shooting it just to make some time. There we go. Yeah, when that effect is gone, we're a little bit better off. So yeah, as you can see, we're pretty limited here. Let's do 1440p, shall we? This one doesn't seem to use that much GPU though. So 1440p, as you can see right there in the middle of the screen. Let's jump right back in. 1440p will look a lot better on this one, since it doesn't have any anti-aliasing whatsoever. Do you like PS4 or PS5? I don't care, really. Whichever one plays the game that I want to play. Of course, the PS5 is better, but it loads faster, does everything better. But, I don't know. I don't really have a preference. As long as I can play the games, again, that I want to play, I'll take whichever. Is God of War 1 playable? Yes, it is. It should be. I think the God of War games, up to God of War 2, are playable on RPCS3. God of War 3 also is kind of playable. It drops frames here and there, but you can basically play the entire franchise, I would say. I prefer PS3 over PS4, makes sense. I mean, on the PS5 you can play all the PS4 games, so no reason to compare those, really. I mean, have you tried Xenia? Yes, I did. I played Red Dead Redemption pretty poorly on Xenia. I also tried the GoldenEye leaked build thing, which was pretty interesting. But then not much else. Xenia has been advancing very slowly. So yeah, you're not testing Resistance 1? No, it's kind of a waste of time, since Resistance 2 works pretty well at 30 frames, so Resistance 1 will be fine, yeah. Both are playable, according to the community, so... We're skipping the first one. And the first one didn't age well at all. I mean, Resistance 2 looks okay, Resistance 3 looks much better, but Resistance 1, man, that game didn't age well at all, visually speaking. Yeah, I tried basically every emulator in the past. As you can see here, it's still dropping below 30, which kinda makes sense. But now the game looks significantly better on the edges. The edges of objects are a lot better. But as you can clearly see, performance is basically the same, because we are limited by the emulator, by the software. But as time goes on, this will improve. We won't get this glitch when aiming down sights, we'll be getting more FPS. So yeah, give it time, give it time. We're going to get there eventually. But yeah, the game looks so much better at 1440p, it's ridiculous. Yeah, so much better. If you play this at 720p, which is a native resolution, oh man, the game looks like from 2001. Nah, I'm kidding, 2001 games looked a lot worse. What I'm trying to say is, since this is from the age that games didn't use TAA, the edges look super... there's a lot of jagged edges, to keep it simply. Okay, something here. Okay, we're running out of video memory. So yeah, do not do 1440p on this card. Look at that VRAM usage. Yeah, no. Yeah, out of video memory. Yeah, the driver crashed because video memory. Not enough video memory, that's fine. The game looked good. So yeah. Yeah, that VRAM. Again, this is a game that really takes advantage of the PS3's hardware. Hello guys, welcome back. So we're going to swap to the 570 now. Now that we did Resistance 1 and 2, 2 and 3, let's do Resistance 2 and 3 on the 570. 1 second, swapping GPUs. 1050 Ti. And now let's do 570. FSR, no need. In this case, doesn't make sense. Even at 1440p, the issue there is that we are VRAM limited. So guys, don't think that FSR is just a magical thing that gives you more frames. You're using a lower resolution and upscaling more smartly, to say it in some way. So it's not going to fix all our problems. In this case, the emulator doesn't care if we're playing at 360p, 720p, 4K. We are limited by what the emulator is doing with the games. So the emulator gotta improve. And then once it's closer to real hardware on the software side, it's going to get there eventually. So yeah, it's not a thing of resolution and all that. This is not like a normal PC game. This is emulator, so it's a different thing. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, we're back. Welcome back. 570 now. And we're starting right away with 1440p. Let's not waste anybody's time. So, as you can see, you keep this like this. On the GPU side, we're going directly to 1440p. FSR, we turn it off. In this case, it shouldn't be necessary, but hey, if it is, we're going to use it. What else? System, no. Audio, no. Advanced. Nothing here. This is the game that requires the least amount of configurations. So yeah, and on Resistance 3, we're going to talk about that one later. But Resistance 2, we're trying that out. Again, we're not doing 60 frames because, as I told you at the beginning, it's not going to be consistent at all. So the game won't be really playable in my experience. So yeah, anyway. Are you drinking compañero? Here in Brazil is chimarrão. Yeah, this is called mate, yeah, exactly. I'm drinking compañero, yeah. Yeah, Killzone 2 and 3 coming on Friday. I'm not sure if I should do one video for each or both in a single video. I'm still thinking about that. But yeah, I also have Killzone 2 and 3. That's coming soon. Don't worry, guys. Those games are pretty difficult to run. So yeah. There's a bunch of names for it. Yeah. Like everything else. Alright. So 1440p. Let's go. We continue with where we were at. That's a difficult phrase. Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
We have a code black. Daedalus is escaped.
All right.
Airhawks divert all
Yeah, this is similar to the 1050 Ti so far. Let me see if I can restart the mission. I don't think so. Yeah, no. No, I cannot. Let's play a little bit and see if it drops below 30 at 1440p. And remember, guys, we're loading shaders in real time, so some graphics will be missing at the beginning. Está capado 30, sí. Y cuando lo desbloqueas a 60 corre muy mal, así que no conviene. Guys, for the people wondering, yeah, the game is locked to 30 frames. You can unlock it, but it's pretty difficult on the CPU side, so you get pretty inconsistent numbers. Not really worth it in my experience with this one. Oh, more ammunition, hell yeah. Alright, with the giant robot thing, we're still dropping frames. Oh, carbine. Oh yeah, give me that. So when you're looking at that robot, yeah, do you drop frames? The aiming down sights in this game is so strange. Super old school. So as I was saying, when you look at that big robot, it kinda drops frames quite a bit. So yeah. ¿Cómo lo tienes en PC? Emulador de Play 3. Está toda la descripción. Guys, if you want to see how to get this emulator, link in the description. Everything is down there, so you can do it on your own. But as you can see, yeah, when looking at this robot, the emulator kinda dies. It's like a lot of information. Okay, let's destroy this robot thing. Okay, let's target the exhaust ports. Come on, turn around, please. There we go.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
I think you pissed him off. Stay close. We need to stick together.
Okay, let's sprint. But yeah, so far this is kinda the place where I have the most problems in this game. I died. It took me too long. You're playing on keyboard and mouse? No, I'm using a controller. Has nothing to do with keyboard and mouse.
Goliath is still active. Put me through to the campus.
Sí, Fabi, saber.
Locate him, sir. He's either out of range or KIA.
Okay, come on.
Wait for him to turn away from us, then target the exhaust ports.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, despite this game being playable, it still drops frames with the CPU. What the hell happened there? Did I miss? I think I missed, yeah. Oh well. Let's move around. Now we gotta run before it kills me again.
Come on, let's move.
The FOV in this game is so low, holy hell. It really feels like a PS3 game. Thank you so much, HJ Almarson. Thank you, man, for becoming a member of the channel. And I'm getting distracted and I died. Thank you so much, man. I hope you're having a great day. Enjoy your icon next to your name and the emojis that come with it. How are you doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on, turn around. Porque hace mucho que no hay videos de la 2060 porque la tuve que vender. La economía se complicó y bueno. Más adelante consigo otro. Alright, got him. Now I'm not going to be distracted again. No problem, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that you are enjoying the channel.
Come on, let's move.
So yeah, run. Now the GPU is maxed out, so yeah, probably I gotta do the FSR trick on this one. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Still, The GPU is not completely maxed out. And again, this level on the PS3, at least for me, wasn't super smooth. In the real hardware, I mean. So yeah, looks nicer than Battlefield 2042. How?
Copy that. We'll begin an aerial search
That's
when the
BS.
evac is
I don't
complete.
believe it.
Get your plane gassed up and ready for takeoff.
What is the best emulator, RPCS3 or Xenia? I mean, there's no best emulator there. They're completely different. They are different platforms. So yeah, no need to compare those. But the RPCS3 has better compatibility with games so far. Okay, let's go grenade. There you are. Say hello to my little friend. Yeah, dead. Reduced to atoms. Let's get the other one. Boom.
Nice shot.
Nice shot. Game looks bad. Well, yeah, it's an old game. It's old. Let me check when it released. This game released when? In 2008. So 1 year before Left 4 Dead 2. And on a console, so yeah. It's a classic. Of course it doesn't look next gen. This is a PS3 game.
Evacuated. We are ready for takeoff, Major.
Well, that's kind of hilarious.
Major, we've got hostiles. Everyone on the plane.
Yeah, let's get on the plane. With the doctor here, the Chimera.
Takeoff.
Alright, nice. No worries, no worries. Happens to the best of us. Okay, I cannot skip cutscenes, so I'm going to get out of the game. Because, you know, cutscenes are kinda irrelevant. So let's now go for Resistance 3, which again looks a lot better. We're going to start with 1440p right away. And if it's too much, well, we're doing 4K then. And then we're doing 1080p. Now let's start with 1080p, let's be real here. Yeah, let's do it in order. So 1080p, again, let me show you the configuration. For future viewers that are watching this as a video, here's the configuration. CPU like this, GPU. At the moment we're using 1080p, as you can see. Nothing else. Advanced, nothing at all. An emulator, only the performance overlay, so nothing else to add. These games do not have a lot of things when it comes to configuration. It's usually just a matter of moving two settings around and you're good to go, so yeah. Did PS3 have good couch co-op games? Yeah, they did. But usually the frame rates were pretty dreadful. I remember playing Uncharted 3 co-op. That was some of the best stuff on the PS3, at least for me. So yeah, there's a lot of couch co-op, I would say. But maybe consider couch co-op for the Xbox 360, maybe, if you can find one for cheap. Usually split screen on that console is, on multi-platform games especially, the performance is a lot better when doing split screen. So yeah, my advice, especially, yeah, some of the multi-platform stuff. The 360 did a lot better on the frame rate department, especially when doing split screen. We're still waiting for Resistance 4. Well, keep waiting. I think they won't put that out anytime soon. They are busy with Spider-Man. So yeah, that's kind of a shame, but still. Good to know they're still making games. Sorry guys, this is taking a little bit long. When the game first loads, when you load the game, it takes a while in this part, so don't freak out. It's just loading. Yeah, $100 for a 3100 I think is good. Just check the price difference with the i3 10100F and you should be good. Yeah, Infamous, that's a great game. Although I think it's not playable as of yet on the PS3 emulator. Playable in a way that you cannot get good frames even with an i9. Which is kind of a shame. So yeah. Ah, delicious mate. Love your man beard, so manly. Well, thanks. It's not that I have a choice, actually. I mean, it's just there. So, hang on. I'm going to restart the level on this one, so you guys can get a decent comparison against the 1050 Ti. This game also has co-op, as you can see here. And you can play offline as well. Co-op should work in the emulator as well. You just need another controller. So yeah, let's do the very beginning. Almost the very beginning. Does the emulator turn down PC performance? No. What do you mean by turning down PC performance? God of War 3, I already tried that one. You can find it in my channel. Runs surprisingly well, God of War 3. Okay, hang on, loading shaders. Alright. Don't let many programs monitor your GPU, CPU will impact performance. Yeah, I mean, depends on the game. I'm not doing a lot of stuff. This is as basic as it can be. So, yeah. And as you can see, it's okay in this part. The issue with this game is that it uses a lot of the PS3 hardware very specifically. Fully takes advantage of the PS3 hardware. So there are some things that are super difficult to emulate with software, so yeah. That's kind of a shame. So some graphics will be broken. That AES though. Completely worth it, having 20 FPS for that AES. Alright, let's go. We're back outside. And those flashes that you can see are the shaders loading. I'm loading shaders in real time, so that affects the visuals a little bit. Let's go outside. So as I was saying, this game takes full advantage of the PS3, so some things will be broken on the emulator, especially when aiming down sights. The graphics break, which is kinda odd. You're afraid of buying an Xbox 360 because of the infamous red ring of death. Well, yeah, makes sense. Understandable. So yeah, as you can see right now, we're fine, 30 frames. If I shoot like this, it's okay. The thing is, you aim down sights and boom, broken graphics below 30 frames. This game's method of rendering was kinda odd, in a way that it rendered things very differently when aiming down sights, as you can see. So yeah, in that regard we're pretty limited, and when looking into the distance as well, it's pretty demanding. And look at those particles, holy hell, that looks so good for a PS3 game. Look at this. The particles flying around. That looks current generation, those particles. That is so nice. Anyway, the thing is, yeah, this game still needs the emulator to work better. So to be improved, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, as you can see, 1080p. No matter what, we're dropping below 30 in certain places. And when aiming down sights. So let's now do 1440p, shall we? So, in this case, again, since the game is not working particularly well on the emulator, and by particularly well I mean locked 30 frames, increasing the resolution doesn't change things that much. So it should run the same but with a higher resolution, which is always welcome. Last of Us on i3 please. It runs the same as the Ryzen 3 I tried like 6 months ago, I think. So yeah. Shouldn't be difficult on The Last of Us. Oh, this game, I loved it so much. Yeah, I played it back when it released. A few years after it released, on 2012, I think I played it, if I'm remembering correctly. And I remember being blown away by the graphics. I mean, remember guys that this is from the PS3 era. I don't remember it being like that on the PS3, to be honest. What do you mean? With the particles and all that? Yeah, you kind of forget that, because you're so blown away back then that you don't pay attention to certain details. 1070 can still handle 6 FPS high. Yeah, it should be okay. The online was amazing. I haven't played it online. When I played that, I didn't care about multiplayer back then. What are you drinking? This is called Yerba Mate. You can find the link for it in the description if you're interested. I already thought about everything. So let's continue in the same place. You kinda sound like the low spec gamer. Well, he speaks Spanish and I speak Spanish as well, so kinda makes sense that we sound alike. Okay, so as you can see, still 30 frames. This is 1440p, by the way. So 1440p. So kinda 30 frames. I am down sights, it drops below 30. I look back there, it still drops below 30. So yeah, kinda runs the same, but it looks significantly better. Because this is back then when games did not use TAA, so jagged edges were the norm. But since the screens were kinda tiny, 720p was the standard. At least for me, in my country. It was okay. But as you can see, yeah, this game still needs the emulator to improve quite a bit. What do you think about... I'd rather not answer, Nico. That's politics, and I don't talk politics. This is a gaming channel, guys. I do not discuss politics here. Although if it's a joke, well, jokes, I can take those. Okay, that's one's done. Now the boss fight, which really, if it dropped frames without the boss fight, just look at the frame rate here. And the motion blur in this game is so strong, holy hell, my eyes. Shield down and we shoot him. Ah, no sé qué es eso, Nico, entonces. Si no es algo político, no sé. No sé quién es. I keep shooting. Yeah, guys, I'm not doing 4K, I think. I think I had enough with 1440p. Why this game is locked to 30? Because this is an emulator. This originally was a 30 frames per second game. So everyone's poorly because, again, this is an emulator. Vale, ahí sí, tal cual. ¿Pepe Argento? ¿O es otro Pepe? ¿Es el sapo Pepe? No sé. La verdad que no tengo idea. Explícame, por favor. Let's go. Whoa. That shadow compilation though. Okay, I have all the ammo here that I need. Shuts down. I destroy him. I can't even play this game at 20 frames. What is wrong with me? I can still kinda enjoy the game at 20 frames. And with broken graphics. Am I 12 years old again? Holy hell. And I do not want to puke. I'm still feeling good. Oh my. That frame rate though. Yeah, that's what happens when you try... when you use auto-aim. Auto-aim really helps in this game. ¿Por qué en inglés? Because reasons. Tenés que probar el Infamous Second Son. Sí, pero eso es de Play 4, no de Play 3. Ya lo di vuelta, está buenísimo. Me encantó. Alright. Got him. Spoke too soon, yeah. Alright. I cannot skip cinematics, unfortunately, so... Yeah, cinematics are nice and all. They tell a story, but I cannot skip them. This game does not have that feature. Unskippable cutscenes. Have you tried FSR? Yeah, but in this case, it's not going to happen. Because it doesn't make a difference. We're limited by the CPU mostly. Pues ya que el PS3 no es de Play 4. El de Play 3 es el 2, el 1 y el 2. Or Battlefield 1 destroying 4-thread CPUs, yeah, true. Do we have The Witcher 2 and 3? Yeah, The Witcher 2, I remember it ran so poorly back then. But we didn't have good enough hardware to handle it. Good time. Games were yellowish those days, yeah. Starting from Resident Evil 4, I mean, all games started being brown. Gears of War was also another culprit for those graphical styles, which was kind of a shame. Yeah, I remember all games being brown or green. I do not miss those days. Alright.
Sounds like one of their ships.
Yeah, we are the Resistance. Ha, see the title there. Although, yeah, still dropping frames pretty poorly, so...
How'd they find us? Try Chelsea, see if they're still up. Radar for months.
Hey, man!
Chelsea operator, this is Haven. Do you read?
Wish those bastards would...
Yeah, ugly color days. Brightness. I want more brightness. It was just too dark.
Just leave us alone.
There we go. I can now
Hog
see.
shooter operator, this is Haven. Do you read? Repeat, hog shooter, this is Haven.
Yeah, the games that looked nice being brown and green were the games that actually had that into consideration when they were made. Again, Gears of War and Resident Evil 4 come to mind. It's kind of funny that Gears of War was one of them, because Gears of War 5 has a lot of nice color to it, so they changed it around after a bit. Yeah, give me more ammo, thanks. I remember Skyrim on PS3 getting worse performance the more you played it, yeah. Because there was more going on in the world, I remember that. I happily played it on PC though. Oh, thanks. Explosive. A shrapnel grenade. Alright. You still play Payday 2? Yeah, I still do. Again, guys, I play a lot of Payday 2, so if you want to join me, add me on Steam. I'm playing it at night in general. And as you can see, guys, here, well, yeah, not great. The game still needs the emulator to get a lot better for the game to be playable. I mean, look at this. If you have a faster CPU like an i9 or a Ryzen 9 with higher single threaded performance, well, you can probably do over 20 just fine. But yeah, this is not great. To keep it lightly. So yeah, Resistance 1 and 2, you can play them pretty well, 20 to 30. But this one, well, this still needs a lot of work from the developers. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to try Resistance 2 and 3 because I played those back then. I'm impressed how good they look when you upscale them to 1440p. Still looking pretty good, considering the age of those games. So again, let me show you something super quick. It was RPCS3.net. So if you go to the compatibility tab, let's hide this for now, you can find the games that are compatible. So if you put Resistance 2 is playable and Resistance Fall of Man is also playable. That means games that can be played with playable performance and no game-breaking glitches. So you can play those two, Resistance 2 and 1, from beginning to end, no problems. But Resistance 3 is in-game. What does this mean? In-game is games that either can't be finished, have serious glitches, or have insufficient performance. In this case, the three of them. So only Resistance 3 has those three issues. So yeah, anyway. Next time we're probably doing Killzone 2 and 3. So hope you guys enjoyed this short live stream. I did only an hour, so I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I also have Metal Gear Solid HD collection. So we're trying that out later as well. So yeah, those are Resistance 2 and 3. Again, don't do 60 frames on Resistance 2. It's pretty unstable. So yeah, See you guys next time, and thanks for watching. Bye guys. See you later. Thank you. Love you all. See ya on Friday, which means tomorrow. And if you want to play Payday 2, join me on Steam. I usually play it. Bye bye.